Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, covering the beginning of a 3-day launch of the 2020 State of the Inner City Report, COVID-19, the changing state of the inner city, strengthening community in a time of isolation. The State of the Inner City Report, started by the Manitoba office of the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives 16 years ago, as a way to highlight the essential but too often invisible work of community-based organizations throughout Winnipeg's inner city. Every year, the focus of the report is chosen by the community-based organizations, and it should come as no surprise that this year they chose to focus on how community-based organizations who deal with emergencies and crises all day, every day, did so and continue to do so in the middle of a global pandemic that requires us to be separated from one another. Before going any farther, I want to recognize that the inner city of Winnipeg is home to the largest urban Indigenous population in Canada. This is Treaty 1 land, a land that has traditionally and continuously been the home of the Métis Nation and many First Nations. And unfortunately, none of these Indigenous nations are strangers to pandemics. Through this history, we have much to learn in the present about individual and communal health and wellness. Many of the community-based organizations throughout the inner city of Winnipeg work with and serve and are often run by Indigenous peoples and principles, including that of recognizing that the health of the individual is intricately connected to the health of society. My name is Shayna Plout, and as a mother and a proud resident of West Broadway, I had the pleasure of being the lead researcher of this report, along with my colleague Justin Grift. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the leadership and frontline staff of community-based organizations who are walking the talk tirelessly and still found the time to sit down and share their experiences and interviews in the middle of a pandemic so that we can better understand the basic needs of the people who live, work, and play in the inner city of Winnipeg. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Justin Grift, who will explain the importance of internet and communication.
Thank you, Shayna. So as Shayna mentioned, my name is Justin Grift. I am a master's student in the city planning program at the University of Manitoba. I have been very fortunate and lucky to work in close collaboration with Shayna, as well as Dr. Sarah Cooper, who could not be here today. Throughout the summer and fall, we have been able to interview 30 people from 21 different community-based organizations in the inner city of Winnipeg. One of these community organizations is the North End Community Renewal Corporation. As you will hear very shortly, NECRC played an important role in offering community members access to computers and internet throughout the pandemic. In fact, they are one of the only organizations within the inner city to be able to do so and do so safely. Access to communication and information has been highlighted by all these interviewed as a critical need during COVID-19. Computer access and internet are critical for individuals who need to access government services like employment and income assistance, also known as EIA. It is also important to access public health information, which we have learned to be very important during this pandemic. And it's also important to maintaining social connections with friends, family through social media and other platforms. Not to mention, effective communication and transparency are also critical components to government's emergency planning and response. And this is often communicated online. Clear and accessible communication is imperative to effectively respond to emergencies and lead to a road of recovery. As one interviewee said, the world was quickly divided between those who suffered from information overload and those who did not have access to information that could potentially save their lives. Finally, the ongoing digital divide has exacerbated disparities for some individuals in accessing internet and important information throughout COVID-19. Without further ado, I want to welcome Bellisle and Jessie Fontaine from the North End Community Renewal Corporation to speak on behalf of the organization and the important work they have been able to achieve during these trying times. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. My name is Bellisle. I'm honored to be standing here as the Director of Employment Development for North End Community Renewal. From the very beginning of this pandemic, we knew that the majority of our participants did not have computers or Wi-Fi, and that was something that we could provide at PATH. It was really important to provide safe access to our participants and our staff as everything kept changing. We're really grateful that our funders supported us, Employment Development and Training, United Way, and I'm really privileged to be standing here. And I'd like to introduce someone who did access our computer services at that time, Jessie Fontaine.
Oh, I don't know. All I could say is that I'm glad to be standing here right now because, a lot of people, they've been going through struggles and stuff like that, and it's just so great to have resources that are available because not a lot of places have access to, computers, you know, like good mentors, pretty much, and pretty much this year has been pretty stressful, but I don't know, I'm just grateful for pretty much all the help that was there when I needed it, and without it I probably would be on the streets right now. So yeah, I don't know, just really grateful. It's really important, and I don't know. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Jessie. Thank you very much, Dawn, as well. As you can see, North End Community Renewal Corporation, like other CBOs, have been and continue to provide essential services with limited and inconsistent financial support and resources. To get a fuller picture of how community-based organizations in the core area of Winnipeg have responded to this pandemic, please attend the launch of our full report on Thursday at 1 p.m. on CCPA Manitoba's YouTube channel. You can register at CCPA Manitoba's website, or if you're watching this on YouTube right now, check the chat box. Registration information should be there. Thank you. Have a good one.